Hello, welcome everyone. Today we are starting GCSE direct and inverse relationship. So let me start and let me understand what exactly it is. So direct and inverse relation or direct and inverse proportion, that means when two different variables, two different quantities share some relationship. So that kind of relationship can be direct and can be inverse. Direct, that means when one variable is increasing, another will increase. When one variable decreases, another will decrease. That is the meaning of direct relationship. Inverse relationship is something that is opposite of each other. That means if one is increasing, other will decrease. And if one is decreasing, other will increase. Say for example, if I say I have two variables x and y. So if x is increasing like 1, 2, 3, 4. So with the same proportion, every time the y is increasing at. So you can say y is 3, then this is 6, 9, 12. You can clearly see what's happening. It's a 3 times with the same proportion. That means there will be a same multiplier. So it's multiplied by 3. If x is 1, then y will be 3 times of it 3. If x is 2, 3 times of it is 6. 3 times of it 9. 4, 3 times of it 12. So clearly you can see every time when x is increasing, y is increasing with the same proportion and it's increasing as well. You can clearly see from 1 to 4 it's increasing, similarly from 3 to 12 it's increasing. So that kind of relationship is called direct relationship or direct proportion. Whereas inverse is when one is increasing, another will decrease. Say for example, here we have x and y. Suppose x is 1. In that case, y is 4. Now x is 2, y is 2. When x is 4, now y is 1. They are sharing some kind of proportion. That means they are inversely proportional, or you can say when I'm dividing 4, then I'll get this answer. That means what's happening when I multiply these two together, I'm getting 4. 4 times 1, 4. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 1, 4. Or simply it looks like this. This kind of relationship they are sharing. And also you can clearly see that x is increasing. From 1 to 4 it's increasing, but y has decreased from 4 to 1. So this is the kind of proportion is called inverse proportion. This is the basic of it, what exactly these proportions are. Now let me see how exactly we can solve it. I'm starting with the direct. Because it's about proportion, proportionality sign is important in that case. So if I'm saying that x and y or any two variables are dependent on each other and share a relationship of direct proportion, then I can write it as x is directly proportional to y. That's a way of writing. But the thing is, in mathematics, we can't deal with just the proportionality. We can't solve it further. So for that, I need to remove the proportionality sign with equals to sign. And whenever we do this, we always introduce a constant. So replacing proportionality sign with equals to sign, but with a constant. Say this constant be k. So I have converted the proportionality into an equation. So x directly proportional to y can be written as x equals k times y. Now how can we calculate this k constant if the value of x and y are given? Suppose here it's given as x is 4 and y is 2. So put this value, you'll get 4 equals 2 times k, and from here I have calculated k. Our first step is we have to calculate after formation of equation. Our work is to calculate the value of k. Once we have the value of k, put that to find the equation. So this is going to be x equals 2y. This is a final equation. This is our main work to do. So to solve a question, first thing is we have to write proportionality. Then second is we have to remove proportionality and form equation. So this is the first step, that is proportionality. Second step is remove proportionality and form equation that we did here. That was our second step. Third step is to calculate the value of constant. We have to calculate the value of constant. So this is third. But for that, we should know the variables, the value of variables. And fourth is put the value of constant to find the equation. These all four steps we have to follow to find or to come to this final conclusion. Now let me do one question on it. The question says m and n are two variables and they are directly proportional to each other. If m is equals to 3 and n equals 9, find an equation of m in terms of n. So we have to follow the same steps. First is write in terms of proportionality. That means because they are directly proportional to each other, I'll write m is directly proportional to n. Second step is remove proportionality and introduce a constant. So m is equals to k times n. Third is put the value of m and n to get the value of k. So m here is 3 and n here is 9. So k is 1 by 3. And fourth step is put this value of k. Why we have calculated the value of k? Ultimately to find the final equation. So we have calculated the value of k, put it here in equation 2 or the one that we have calculated in step 2. M is equals to 1 by 3 times n or m is equals to n by 3. In this way, we'll be able to find the equation. Now, suppose they have said that find m if n is equals to 12. So what you need to do is just put the value of 12 in place of n. So m is equals to n by 3 and in place of n I'll write 12 over 3. So m will be 4. We'll definitely do more questions, but in the next lecture when we'll do the worksheet. Now let me move on to the inverse proportion, how we can solve it. If two variables are sharing inverse relationship, that means same thing. The first step is I have to write the proportionality. So first is proportionality and proportionality is inverse. So I'll write suppose x and y have two variable and they are sharing an inverse relationship. So I'll write x is inversely proportional to y. Previously they were direct, that's why I have written like this. But now they are sharing inverse relationship, so I have to write it like this. The second step is definitely I have to remove the proportionality and introduce a equation. So remove proportionality and form equation. How do we remove proportionality sign? By replacing it with equals to sign and introducing a constant. So it will be x is equals to the most common mistake. Well, you can do in that way as well, obviously, but the general way or you can say the easier way is introduce a constant up there. Don't introduce it like this, like ky. Even if you solve it like this, you'll be able to get the correct answer. But the better is, and the one that will help you in calculating the exact answer is like this. You always have to introduce a constant up there. Now, the third is same, calculate the value of k. Suppose in this equation, I have given an information that x is 1 and y is 3. Because unless we don't have the value of x and y, we can't calculate the value of k. So definitely that will be given in the question. Here x is 1, so I'll put 1 in place of x and in place of y I'll put 3. So I have calculated k as 3. The last step is, you can clearly see it's exactly the same what we did previously. Only the thing is there it was x is directly proportional to y. Here is the inverse relation. Now put the value of k in equation 2. Simple here of step 2. So fourth is, since we have calculated the value of k as 3, put it here, x is equals to 3 over y. So this is our final equation. So let me do one question on it. It says x and y are inversely proportional to each other. X is equals to 4 when y is equals to 2. Find an equation of x in terms of y. First is because they are inversely proportional, so I'll write x is inversely proportional to y. Second step is I need to remove the proportionality sign and introduce a constant. So x is equals to k by y. Now we have already the value of x and y. So in place of x, I'll write 4 and in place of y, I'll write 2. So I have calculated k as 8 and put this value of k back to the equation here that we have found. So x is equals to k over y. So this was about the basics of direct and inverse relationship, proportion, and how can we solve those questions. In the next class, we'll be doing the worksheet. You can access worksheet on Akzsi app and the link is already in the description box. What I suggest you just go through this video, try to do some questions from the worksheet, and if you'll not be able to do it, then refer the video that I'm going to make on the worksheet. And if you want to enroll yourself for one-on-one classes or for group classes for KS1, KS2, KS3, GCSE, AS, levels, that means from year 1 to year 13, you can drop us an email at akzsiacademy@gmail.com. The classes will be provided by the experts on almost every subject. And the most important part is that it's at very affordable rates. So that's it for today. Thank you. Stay tuned.